Hey, everyone. Hey, welcome to Feelings with the Geekiary. I am Erin. I'm here along with our admin Angel and Jamie. We're fans. We have feelings, and this is where we webcast about them. Welcome to our International Fanworks Day Appreciation webcast.
Yay!
Yay! So you can join the conversation a couple of different ways. You can join it on Twitter with the hashtag Geekiary Feelings, or you can just comment below because this is a live stream on YouTube and there's a little chat box. So we'll see your comments pop up while we talk.
Hold on, I gotta find it. Sorry. I was tweeting. We would like to remind all of you that the views expressed in this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals and do not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole.
Thank you. Yes. So as I mentioned, this is our International Fanworks Day Appreciation webcast. So I'll be talking about a lot of fanworks later on, but first, of course, we got to go through our normal drill. Don't forget about our Patreon. It's patreon.com/thegeekiary. We have a ton of new perks and rewards and stuff. So check that out. Give us money because we like it. Also, be sure to check out the rest of our YouTube channel. Again, lots of quarantine content out there and some great reaction videos. I think we have some new interviews and stuff out there too. So lots and lots of things to check out. Also, really exciting. 8-year anniversary?
8-year anniversary on March 3rd. So that's like 2 weeks from now. I can't believe we've been doing it this long. I feel like the webcast was like 1 or 2 years in, but it's been here since close to the beginning, at least.
Yes, very close, yes. So yeah, we definitely have some plans coming up. So check out not only thegeekiary.com, but also our YouTube channel because we'll have some stuff. Yay! 8 years, oh my gosh. All right. And also be sure to check out the Geekyary's news section because there's been a lot.
So I'm gonna I know. So I'm gonna put the first one I put down near the end because it'll be a good segue into like the actual topic of the episode. So let's just skip that one for a second. First news piece I want to talk about is Gina Carano getting fired from The Mandalorian. I wrote kind of a spicy article about that.
Smallest violence.
But like, it's so controversial that she got fired that like Senator Ted Cruz is tweeting about Star Wars. It's really weird. But yeah. But she got fired because of a lot of really controversial like stuff on her social media, like
multiple instances, not just like one and like no,
election conspiracies, COVID, like mask denialism,
and she was allegedly like warned about it too. So if you're warned about it and you still do it, like that's your own stupid fault.
Yeah, so that's a thing. And apparently she's gonna go make a movie. But she's gonna go do a movie with Ben Shapiro now, which sure,
cool.
I look forward to not seeing that. So yeah.
Me too.
I'm not sorry. Just like going back to that, like I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I've watched like the first season of The Mandalorian. I'm very bad because I'm very behind. But like that definitely, I think, even among my non-geeky friends, was the big news of like the last couple days. And most of them are. Yeah,
interesting to say that when we're in an impeachment.
Well, that's fair.
I think we don't. Nobody wanted to think about that.
Yeah, that's true. Let's look at Star Wars instead. It's like our political proxies talking about Gina Carano.
It's true. It's funny to like. Well, no, it's not funny. This is a terrible situation. But like, yeah, she got herself into this, and it's just really interesting to see like the different perspectives that people have about this, because her like tweets and I don't know, like her posts were very controversial, yes, but radical, if anything. And some people didn't think of them as necessarily controversial. And that's what's scary, is that like these comments, these posts that she made were super, super radical. Not like what I would consider
she wasn't talking about like tax brackets or like trickle down economics. She's not talking that. She's talking about like the election was stolen, which is what led up to the siege on the Capitol. Like, this is not innocent political disagreements. This is very extreme.
Yeah, and so to me, I'm just like, listen, if you are considering her comments, her post is like conservative or Republican adjacent, I'm like, it's.
That tells on you, I think, more than...
So, anyway. Sorry for getting down the political road, but...
That's basically the thesis of my article, is like, is this really conservative stuff? Are you sure you're wanting to claim this as
do you want to go down that road?
All right, but I don't...
Like, you said it, not us.
Yeah, I didn't label it as such. That's not true.
All right, Jamie?
Yeah, so the other news thing from this week, I think that is for us, is Charisma Carpenter, I think finally, like, officially spoke out against the treatment that she endured, like, while filming Buffy and Angel. I think, like, and some people are, like, shocked by this, and they're like, why is she just coming out now? And it's like, she's not. Like, she's been saying this for a while. I found out about this. I mean, she's been saying it for a while, but I only found out about it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few years ago when Joss Whedon's ex-wife wrote that article about like what being married to him was like. And I think in some of the comments they talked about like Charisma Carpenter. So I Googled it and like found, and there wasn't anything official. It was like fan accounts of her like talking about it at conventions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like this was like an actual like official statement on her Twitter, and it was in support of Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, right? Cyborg in Justice League. And you can tell who didn't see Justice League. Like because he came forward with treatments that he was mistreated as well. And so that's a big thing, because obviously like we all were at one point fans of Joss Whedon's work. Mm-hmm. I haven't really been a fan of him since the mess that was Avengers Age of Ultron. But he hasn't really done anything, I think, since Justice League anyway, which, again, I did not see because DC movies are gross except for Wonder Woman.
Age of Ultron is when I found out about the Charisma Carpenter thing, because Age of Ultron was so problematic in so many different ways that, like, I questioned how can a film that has such a bad perspective on, like, women and bad tropes for women come from someone who created Buffy. And then someone's like, oh, well, you see, and then like filled me in on everything, like the Charisma Carpenter stuff. And then like I looked back at Buffy through that lens and saw like a very different show. And like I did not notice like certain themes in it until I looked back at it like with the knowledge of
well, I mean, I was like 15 when it came out, so I wouldn't have caught any of that anyway. Also, I had a very different I mean, I grew up in rural Pennsylvania. It's affectionately known as Pennsyltucky. So I had a very different mindset when I was 15. So I wouldn't have noticed that kind of stuff anyway. But I did notice, like watching. I never really watched Angel the way I watched Buffy. Mm-hmm. But you go back and you look. Like I did see like parts of it. I wasn't ever like a faithful viewer, but I'd watch it when it was on, and you could tell like Cordelia's plot in Angel is awful, and you could tell that like that she was being like she was in a coma for like an entire season, and then they like killed her off screen, and like
the whole pregnancy storyline because like it's just really bad. But there's been a lot of talk about it because a lot of people went through the same thing with J.K. Rowling. Like, she created something that people love, and then she does all this. And so, like, It's a hard place to be as a fan.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things, we talked about J.K. Rowling on the last one, and it's one of those where it was like, I can appreciate the stuff that has already come, but I'm not gonna tune into anything upcoming. Like, just no. And honestly, and actually, like this, it also saddens me because I loved Firefly. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Firefly. That came out when I was a junior in college, and you'd better believe that I was not the kind of person that went out Friday night, so I was home watching Firefly. And the thing is, I was like, Firefly was already soured for me because of Adam Baldwin.
Oh God,
Jane was my favorite character, and Adam Baldwin is like,
oh God, I hadn't even thought about it. It's a double whammy. We got a double whammy with Firefly. That sucks.
Yeah.
At least most of the cast of Buffy and Angel, except with like a few exceptions at this point, like most people have spoken out, have been very supportive of Charisma Carpenter and like validated her and had their own stories. So most of the people involved in this thing I love are being really good about it.
Which is always appreciative. Like, like the last thing you want to find out is like, oh, good, you're supporting a terrible human being. Now
like with Chris Pratt and all of the MCU celebrities come out to defend him after the whole, that hasn't happened with Buffy. The staff of Buffy is like supporting us. So,
like, if they're gonna come out, like, do it now so I know and can like get you off.
Right. Okay. Yes. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm kind of out of it because I just moved and stuff, but like, everything that I've seen has been like the cast supporting her and what she's been saying. And I even just saw like an article where the headline was like, Michelle Trachtenberg cancels Joss Whedon. And I'm like, yeah.
She had her own story too. Like, she posted on Instagram. Like, I don't recall all the details. So many celebrities have talked, but she made her own statement about stuff too. So
that's good. All right, I'll check it out.
And anything on to the last story, which will segue into the actual topic of our episode, which is fanworks and fanfics. I wrote an article about a rather strange situation happening in the world of fan fiction right now. So there's this fanfic called Sexy Times with Wangxian, which is a ship name, that has well over 1,000 tags. Like, tags are supposed to be used for things like ships, like, so you know what it's about, themes, or like trigger warnings. And they tag like mangoes and like pants. And like,
literally everything.
Yeah. Grandmothers was a tag, like cabins, like what is, and like they just keep updating it every couple of days and adding dozens of more tags each time. So like you have to scroll past it for like 40 seconds, like just to scroll through it. It's absolutely wild. Jamie, you look at that ship tag, right? Like,
yes, but I don't read anything in progress.
Okay.
So I filter out anything that's not complete. So I have managed to avoid that.
I do look at things in progress, which means that I've been terrorized by this fic. Like,
so are the tags like? Sorry, I have not, like, I heard about it obviously, but I have not read the details. But like, are the tags relevant, or are they just totally random?
They're relevant, but
that it's like in the fic. There's mangoes, and so like, okay, this is mango. But it's like, that's not normally a thing that you would tag it with. Like, and this is actually like, I mean, sorry to, because Angel knows more about this than I do, because like was not even aware. But there's actually a disconnect, and this is like a discourse on Tumblr about how to use tags on Archive of Our Own, because there's a subset of people that use the tags, you know, the way they're meant to be. There's a specific way to tag ship pairings. There's a specific way to tag platonic pairings. People will mix those two up. They're not the same thing. Yeah. And like people use, you know, you're supposed to tag like trigger warning, like, you know, mpreg, so that if somebody doesn't like mpreg, they can filter that out. And then there's some people that use the tags on AO3 as though it was Tumblr.
Like, and they'll have conversations.
They'll post their thoughts and be like, the tag will be like, I don't know what's up with this. It's like, that's not what the tag is for. And so there's discourse about like how to tag. And it's one of these things where it was like, well, you can't tell me how to tag. And it's like, no, we really can't, but it's like an etiquette thing, you know?
Yeah. Like, this is a community. We have our own language. We have our own way of operating and finding things. Like, if you're really deep into fanfic, like, you know what Jamie meant by impreg. Like, if you're not into fanfic.
Listen, I don't read fanfic and I know what that means. So there's not really an excuse. Yeah.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a language, and tagging is part of that, like, fandom language and etiquette. And so when someone goes way off course, like what Jamie's talking about, or this fic with like 3,000 tags or whatever. I haven't actually counted them, but someone estimated they're at about 3,000. Like, it's bad form in like how we function like in the world of fandom. That makes sense.
Yeah, that just seems like too high maintenance for me. Like,
yeah. Well, and like, I mean, Angel wrote about this, but it was like multiple people have contacted this person and been like, please don't do this. And they've basically been like, whatever, I do what I want. And I think like some people think that a lot of the tags are now just spite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to keep tagging stuff just because you all are mad. And it's like, yeah, I don't do that.
And now she's going to do crossovers with other fandoms, which this is basically a collection of one-shots. Like, if there's an actual overarching story in this 1.5 million like word fic so far, we don't know what it is. They can't tell what the plot is. Like, the tags tell you nothing about what the plot is, and like the summary is just like sexy times with Wangsian, and like that's it. But now it's gonna be a crossover with My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, Final Fantasy VII, and Marvel Cinematic Universe. So anyone who's in those fandoms, this fic is coming your way. I don't know what tags, but there'll probably be a lot.
It's very strange.
Anyway, you can check Angel's article for a list of ways to hopefully avoid ever having to see this.
Basically, just don't search for the tag mangoes. Another thing.
Tag, it'll show up in the.
It'll show up in every tag.
Updates every day, so if you search by recent, every day it's popping up.
Yeah.
That's really annoying.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, since this is Fanworks appreciation, we're not going to be bashing anything else.
No, this is where the negative. It's not even really negativity. Yeah. So International Fanworks Appreciation. No, International Fanworks Day Appreciation is what we're doing. Sorry. February 15th, which is Monday, is International Fanworks Day. And I'm gonna let Jamie finish her little commentary on that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So first of all, let's go through like what Fanworks encompasses, because I think it has a lot of different meaning to different people. So
it can be a lot of things. Like, we started this conversation off with fan fiction, which is fiction people write that are based off of already established canon, like TV shows, movies, comics, whatever. But it can be art, it can be crafts, it can be fan videos, it can be so many different things, like cosplay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of the things that I have, because like we I made a like an outline, and it's like fan fiction, fan art, and like fan videos, and then it's like other, and I have a bunch of stuff in other because I just thought of it today, and I was like, oh, and I don't know where to put it.
And I have something there too, like,
yeah.
So there's a lot.
Well, and you guys, I know you two are really into fan fiction. I'm personally really into fan art. I have spent a lot of money furnishing my new apartment with fan art. So I might have some examples as well. But yeah, let's since we've already started talking about fan fiction, let's keep going with that. So yeah.
Jamie, do you want to start?
I can start. So we're basically going to be recommending stuff. It's like our favorite works. That's the whole point. We want to try to spotlight on these creators. Now I'm sure we all have honestly too many to mention, we tried to pare it down for you. So what I did was I picked my favorite fic from each of my like main ships. So that's what. So the first one is something that if you're a Sterek fan, you have probably already read. Oh wait, I also have to say I think it's funny because I know Angel doesn't like AUs, and all of my fic recs are AUs.
That stands for alternate universe for people who don't know what that is. I can't do them. I don't know why. I always exclude them when I'm looking for a fic. No AUs.
So the first one is like a pinnacle like Sterek fic. It's always on every rec list. Oh, and I guess I could say for anyone who's unaware, Sterek is Styles and Derek from Team.
Thank you.
But so it's called A Desperate Arrangement, and it's by Mickey Mouse is her AO3 name. But it's Mad Madam M if you follow her like anywhere else. Because I also follow her on Tumblr and Twitter. I guess I should say them. I don't want to assume gender for anybody. But A Desperate Arrangement is a historical AU where Scott is king of like a small country. And in order to secure a peace treaty, like they're on the brink of war with another country, and so like in order to secure a peace treaty, he arranges a marriage between Styles and Derek, and it's basically like,
I love
like
it.
Derek
Arranged marriage trope.
Yes, arranged marriage. Yep. I love those arranged marriage, fake dating. But like it's one of my favorite fics. That's one of the few fics I actually read in progress. Because I usually, having written fics and abandoned them, I don't like to read in progress one because I know people abandon them, and I don't want to get too far into one and then it gets abandoned, which has happened before.
That's emotionally devastating.
And I know, and I've done that to people, and I'm sorry.
I've done it a lot. Like pretty much all my fic is abandoned.
This one is really good because like Derek has problems because he had another arranged marriage that didn't end with marriage. They broke off the arrangement, but it was very like abusive for him, and so he's like very scared going into this. And it's like a wump, like hurt comfort is in there is a big deal. Styles has magic, that's a big thing. There's also a mystery because like, you know, that's obviously werewolves, and like Derek and his family, like their country is made up primarily of werewolves, and werewolves have been going missing. And so they're like investigating the missing werewolves while they're also like doing the marriage thing and everything. And also a fan artist that I'm going to be recommending later does art for this fic. And so if you read it on AO3, like it's embedded in there and it's amazing. So that's my Sterek one. And then the next one is Haikyuu. It's Iwa Oi, which is Iwa Izumi and Oikawa. That's another AU because they all are. It's called In Defense of Reptiles and Other Gross Things. It's a Harry Potter AU. And it's funny because there's actually like a wizarding school in Japan, but it's set at Hogwarts because of course it is. But Oikawa is the Triwizard champion for Hogwarts.
Okay.
And it's basically like he and Iwa Izumi are like childhood best friends, which is a trope I hate in like normal fiction, but love in fan fiction for some reason. But yeah, and a great thing about this, this is by, I don't think I'm going to pronounce this right, but it's like Rikka. It's Rikke. And the great thing about this fic is that there are footnotes. And the footnotes like contain actual like little like side stuff. It's not even like translations or anything. It's like you click on one of the footnotes and it's like a little story of like a birthday present that like
kind of like Good Omens, like how Good Omens does it with their little,
or like Discworld, how it's like there's stuff in the footnotes. So I was like, I love that. And Rikka had wrote like pretty much all of my favorite Iwa Oi fics are by Rikka, and they had deleted all of them a while ago, and then they brought some of them back, and I've like, as soon as they brought them back, I went and commented on all of them. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, because I missed these. Like, anyway, so that's Haikyuu. And then the next one, this is also a staple if you are a Merthyr shipper. That is Merlin and Arthur from Merlin. This is like a big something everybody, like, it's on like every rec list. Like, if you're starting out in the fandom, here's what you read. It's called The Student Prince by Faye J. It is another AU. It is a modern AU. Magic still exists. Arthur is the Prince of Wales. And he and Merlin are students at the same school. It's semi-based on the fact that Prince William and Kate Middleton went to school together, and that's how they met. But it's based, like, it's super long, and it's like Merlin is like entrusted with taking care, like making sure that Arthur stays safe, and Arthur's not aware that he's magic. It's sort of the same plot of the show. But in this one, Arthur finds out before he dies. Well, he doesn't die. I don't read main character death. But it's like, but he finds out, and it's not like on his deathbed. And so then they get to deal with the fallout and all that kind of stuff. It is amazing, and it's like very long. So if you have time, yes, definitely read that. What else have I got? So what I've been reading mostly this year since I watched The Untamed is Wang Dian, which is clicking in the wrong thing. Which is Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji, the main pairing. And so this fic, it's one of the first ones that I read in the fandom, is called The Simplest Way Forward by Harriet_Vane. Fake dating, actually it's a fake marriage, because the whole thing is that, and they don't have courtesy names, so it's Wei Ying and Lan Jian. But Wei Ying wakes up in his apartment after like a party in his apartment, and Yuan is there, who is abandoned by like somebody, and so he has to take care of him. And Lan Jian finds out, and he's like, well, obviously the easiest thing to do is to get married. And so they like fake get married, because Wei Ying's not a citizen and he can't really adopt Yuan. So it's like, so they get married so that he can get his green card and get on Lan Jian's insurance and all that kind of stuff. And then of course they fall in love like while they're fake married. But
this is very American Problems, by the way.
Yes. Yes, it's set in America. They live in America, because The Untamed is obviously like set in China. But yeah, there are students in like New York or something. Excuse me. And then my last fic rec, I promise, is the last one. And this is hilarious because I had to add this because I had my weekly video chat with my friends last night, and I've been recommending my one friend this fic for like a year, trying to get her to read it. And I'm like, no, seriously, you have to read it. It's Arthur Eames from Inception. If they have a ship name, I don't know it. I think it's just Arthur Eames. I don't know. But it's called Next Big Thing. It's part of a series, but I think I read this one first, and then, because it's like it's mostly a bunch of like little one-shots, like extra stuff, but there's the first fic in the series is like a short, like how they got together kind of thing. And then there's like a little one-shot, and then there's this monstrosity of a fic, which is like almost 300,000 words. And it's an HGTV AU. So they are personalities on an HGTV.
I've never heard of that AU genre before. That's amazing.
They're TV personalities on an HGTV show, and it's actually a real show. It's called Love It or List It, if you watch it.
Oh, yeah.
And so Eames is the interior designer, and then Arthur is the real estate agent, and they meet on the show, and that's how they end up together. But Next Big Thing is about them participating in another reality show, and it's like a competition show to find like the next big like interior designer. And so it's the two of them as judges, and then a third judge comes on, and he has another show on HGTV, and he and Eames used to date, and so it's like super
very messy.
Yeah, so it's like super awkward. And all that kind of stuff. And it was like, and you know, everybody's there. Like Cobb is like the director, and like Maul is like the network person or something. Ariadne's one of the contestants, you know, like so. And Saito is their agent, so I think that's hilarious. But it was like it is like completely ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever read, because it's just like insane the stuff that happens in this fic. It's like totally plausible stuff that could happen, but it's like it seems completely insane. I like to read it when I'm feeling like low, because it's just like it's insane, and it's just really funny. So, I forgot. It's by Earl Grey T68. Let me check that.
Yeah.
Earl Grey T68. And that's the end of my fic recs.
So while all of yours were AUs, I suddenly realized all of mine are like angsty canon compliant hurt comfort fics. All of them. I guess I have a type. So the first one is a Stucky fic called The Bucky Barnes Guide to Household Management.
I think that's that one.
By Crypto Homo Rocker. So let me just read the description because it's pretty good. Steve doesn't even notice at first is the thing. Or Steve is unobservant. Bucky learns to be good at things that aren't killing people, and knitting happens.
It sounds like every BTS fanfic, by the way. So.
But it's really good. It like explores the type of trauma like they've gone through. I can't remember. I think it's post-Civil War. I'm pretty sure. Like an alternative to Bucky having been sent like off to Wakanda. And it's just literally like hurt comfort, like them working through their problems.
Yay, working through problems.
The next one is a Kirk Spock fic. I'm gonna slide you guys in with the really famous ones because my third recommendation is my really obscure hyperfixation. So Kirk Spock fic. One of them called So Wise We Grow, which is post the 2009 film, like after Vulcan blew up. Spock has a kid. Like they found him and they're trying to reunite Vulcans because like their planet blew up. So suddenly he has like a child to take care of, and so he kind of like co-parents it with Kirk. Like, and like the other fic, they work through their problems. Love that kind of fic.
Yes. Well, it's very therapeutic and like cathartic for ourselves.
Right?
Like, yeah. I get it.
And my third fic is from my hyperfixation. So Tianguan Sifu, Heaven Official's Blessing. So the book is split up into 5 parts. The parts 1, 3, and 5 are all sequential, like it's one ongoing story. And books 2 and 4 are flashbacks that fill in the gaps because these characters are 800 years old. So it kind of gives you some of the stuff that's happened over 800 years in books 2 and 4. So what this fic does, the one I'm recommending, it's called Wooming Loving Hours. And Wooming is a character that's only in book 2 and like goes through tragic shit. Like, I don't want to spoil you because I know that you're watching the Donghua, Jamie. So I won't reveal who Wooming is or anything that he goes through other than it sucks. But basically it takes that, which is sequentially the first thing that happened in the story 800 years ago, and goes alternate universe from there. So I guess I can like alternate universe fix if they're in the same canon, like, you know, like...
Yeah, like canon adjacent.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it diverges from the story 800 years ago, before the story that you've seen depicted in the Donghua so far, and before book 1 and before like the major story. So it just like is a sign tangent. Like, what if this story wasn't so tragic and good things happened to them instead? But it also, like my other 2 fics, involves characters working on their shit. It's good. It's like a constant theme in my fic. Those are my recs.
Hey, I just added a little note. Okay. So, disclaimer, I don't read fanfic. I'm not a reader. You guys know this. I've been very upfront and open about this forever. I just don't read. I'm sorry. I was the gifted kid when I was little. They made me read all this extra stuff, and I was like, I hate this. So now I just don't read. However, as you know, I've been very into BTS recently. And BTS themselves actually created a whole alternate universe in their discography. And there is a ton of fanfic, fan art, whatever you want about their AU. So I thought I actually discovered this TikTok earlier about their AU that breaks it down very simply. I'm like, maybe I'll share that. So you guys can see this, and like the AU is actually really interesting. So I'm gonna start over here. Let me see if you can see this.
After a minute, go. March 2013, all the boys get detention together and have to clean a storage classroom, which then turns into their secret hideout, and they become close friends. Jin gets blackmailed by the principal to snitch on the secret hideout. A teacher catches Yoongi and Jungkook in there. The teacher slaps Jungkook, Yoongi pushes teacher, and Yoongi gets expelled. Friend group falls apart. Jin blames himself, so he leaves LA. A year and a half later, Jin comes back to Korea. April 11th, Jun gets in a fight and goes to jail. Jungkook jumps off a building, and Yoongi sets his hotel on fire. And Hobie has narcolepsy, and on May 22nd, he falls and hits his head. Tae kills his dad. Jin gets special time traveling abilities, and without realizing it, he resets April 11th. After 2 resets, he realizes he can time travel and has to interfere to save them. He saves Jun and Jungkook, but it takes him 4 attempts to save Yoongi. Earlier on, Jimin suffered a seizure and is in the hospital. Hobie's in there from the fall, and it takes Jin a few attempts, but he saves them from the hospital. But Jin forgets to save Tae. He realizes he can't save them all himself, so this time he leaves clues for the other members to save each other. And they all live happily ever after, until Jungkook gets hit by a car and gets hospitalized. Yoongi blames himself and leaves. Jin develops a crush and finds the girl after taking her diary. He's gonna confess, but she gets hit by a truck. He restarts the day, but doesn't meet her. R.I.P.
Okay.
Wow.
That is actually no, because I actually like BTS. They had an official like webtoon that came out like on Webtoon, and that's the plot of the webtoon.
Yes.
And I was like going into that knowing nothing about BTS. I'm like, what the hell is
So this is the reason that I wanted to bring it up, because like this is part of the reason that really like the AU is what got me into the fandom. Like, because my friends had been trying to get me to listen to BTS or whatever, but when I found out a bit about the AU, I was like, what? Like, they created this themselves. They created mini films, music videos, a whole album, the webtoon. Like, they did all of this.
So they wrote fanfic of themselves and made it into like official material. Self-insert fanfic of
Exactly. And so
amazing.
Believe me, I know. This is what got me into them. Seriously. Like before I was like, yeah, okay, they're cute. Their music is good, whatever. And then it was actually Yvonne told me about their short films. And I was like, what? Short films? And they're like based on literature and like the dichotomy between good and evil and like imagery, biblical imagery. And I'm like, what? So anyway, that's that. But yeah, you can literally like there's endless fanfic about the AU as well as them as real people, which they're real people. So we won't go down that path. Anyway, that's my BTS pitch. There you go. Now you can love BTS. Let's go to fan art.
Yay! Now we're gonna try something with this where we show the art on our phones up to the camera because we want to show the fan art we're talking about, but we don't want to like repost it. That's bad form, so we're not gonna like be like, go look at what we tweeted, because that's basically really mean to fan artists, so we're not going to do that. So just look at what we got
on us on Twitter. We retweet a lot of fan art.
Yeah.
And I try to retweet some of it to the Geekiary Twitter too. So
yeah,
that's a good way to get. But so do you want me to
you
start?
can go first. Yeah, okay. Go for it. You can be the guinea pig on this phone method.
We tested it before, so hopefully this works out fine. Okay, so my first one is going to be Geeky Sova. They're not really active anymore. But that's the fan artist that I mentioned that has their fic or their art in the Steric fic. And like I got into them because of Steric, but they also did like other fandoms, and I know they posted some sheep, which is another one of my ships. That's a controversial one, but I don't care. I mean, honestly, so is Steric. But so here is one of their.
Oh yeah.
See that?
Very good.
Geeky Sova had a lot. Like there's Tyler Hecklin is a big Game of Thrones fan, and so I tried to find that one, but I couldn't. I mean, I was just scrolling back through their Tumblr, and I'm like, I don't know when it was posted. But it's Derek in the Game of Thrones universe, so he's got like, I think he's wearing like Jon Snow's cape or something like that. And there's also like a Hunger Games one. Like I really love Geeky Sova stuff, and I really wish they were like more active than they are. And so then the next one is going to be Lightning Strikes, who I follow on Twitter and Tumblr. They do a lot of sheath, so that's one of their things. That's Keith calling Shiro Takashi, which he never ever does, ever, except in fics when it's a big deal. You know how that is. It's like character has a nickname that they've always gone by. You call them by their first name, and it's like you have that moment. that happens a lot in fic. And then the next one I have is Ponch Salazar. I follow them on Tumblr. I like their. I mean, they do a lot of stuff, but I like their Iwa Oi. This is.
Oh, did we lose Jamie?
I think we might have lost her.
She'll be back. Sometimes
Okay.
her internet's a little unstable. So, Angel, why don't you go ahead?
All right, so I am going to start with the artist. Oh, hi. So we moved on to me because you cut out.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'll do one. Sounds good. I'll do my first one. Geeris. They, I think, do art in a lot of different fandoms. I honestly can't remember what fandom I first found them in, but here's one of them from Boku no Hero Academia. Like that's some of their fan art. We've got Evangelion. But then you start to get in, of course, Yuri on Ice. Is another one of the costume from the new movie. But then you start to get into the Donghua fandom. Oh, wait, one more anime one. Got Promare. So we got Modao Zushi. They do a lot. We got Jinling. But then, here's another good one. And then my hyperfixation, because of course, Tianguan Sifu, Heaven Official's Blessing. Where is it? Got some really good ones. So like, there's Wei Ying. I think I'm almost done with these. I downloaded a lot. Oh yeah, here's one more.
Yeah, Geeris was at Anime NYC a couple of years ago, and I'm so mad that I never made it. I mean, I was at their table, but I only had so much money.
Yeah,
I ran out of money, and I was.
They are big on the convention circuit, but they're not always the ones that are there. Like, they sometimes send their friends, I think. At least I'm pretty sure, because they had a booth here in Hawaii, and I asked the people running it if they were the artists, and they said no, but apparently it's like proxies. But that's how in demand their fan art is. Like, they can send people off to a convention to sell their art.
Yeah, that booth was always packed.
Like, it's so good. Next time I see their stuff at a convention, I will buy some.
That's gonna be my first stop if they ever make it back to Anime NYC. If Anime NYC ever happens. If conventions ever happen again, like
someday, hopefully they will. Do you want to continue with yours?
Oh yeah, okay. So I don't know if you even got to see the Ponch Salazar one. Wait, hold on. That's not. I think it's too white. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, sorry, Ponch Salazar. Follow them on Tumblr. They do really cute haiku like mini comics, and they just recently got into Percy Jackson, so there's been a lot of Percy Jackson.
Ooh, okay.
And I love Percy Jackson, so I'm like, hell yeah, please get into another fandom that I want. And so the next one I have is Muse. They
Yes.
do.
I know their
Ooh.
work
primarily.
too.
Yeah.
I know their work too.
That's
They're
beautiful.
Yeah, they have a lot of good ones. I only ever picked like one. I picked one for each artist. This is actually Lan Wangji's birthday was in January, and that's the birthday art that they made for that. And then I got another. This is another Wang Jian one. This is Ran Rot. What that is.
That's really cool.
Ooh.
They do a lot of stuff. Yeah. I follow them on Twitter, so they're on Twitter. And so Muse is on Twitter too, and Tumblr.
And Gears too.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Ponch Salazar, I may be on Twitter, but I follow them on Tumblr. And then this one is Wei Yi. They do a lot of haiku. This is Kageyama and Hinata in their or Hinata in their Team Japan volleyball uniforms, which was a big thing. Spoiler from the end of the manga. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that, and then I have one more, and this is somebody that is on Twitter and Tumblr. I actually have this printed out because they did this before the end of the year. They made, and they actually had a giveaway on their Twitter, which I did not win. But they made like, it's like line art, like print out. They had the PDF, not the PDF, like the JPEG or whatever. These are steric bookmarks, and it's like color your own steric bookmarks. And so
and it's line art. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I obviously printed that out. I haven't colored them yet, but as you can see. And actually right now they're doing on their Twitter, they do it every year. It's like smooch doodles for Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
They're not taking prompts anymore, but if you go to their Twitter, like they took like a whole bunch of prompts like at the beginning of the, and then they post them, and it's like pretty much like you give like a ship and like what you want. So it's like steric forehead kiss, and like then they draw that. And so they do. There's a lot of fandoms on there. Like I know there's a Good Omens one. There's all kinds of stuff. So like that's that's a red blush. I didn't say who that was.
Cool. So Geras was the one that I prepped up most on my phone. The next two I want to talk about on my list are ones that started fan and went pro, which is really neat to watch. See, I guess Geras kind of did too. They do official art for Modao Zushi. But the next one I want to talk about is Cami. On Twitter, they are Carano. They are into animation, actually. A lot of their art is animated. Like they did one of Jiang Chen from Modao Zushi, like with Zidian, like the lightning thing. And then they got hired to do Heaven Official's Blessing, so they actually did that official. Like they did the scene with the sword flying around in the dark.
Ooh.
Like they did that scene. The scene at the in the very first episode where he saves the boy from falling from the wall, like they did that one. Like a lot of really good ones. So there's that one. And the next one also went pro. They did fan art first. Their name is Star Ember. And they were a fan of my hyperfixation, Heaven Official's Blessing. And now some of their fan work of it is kind of considered contraband because some of it is like a little risque. And they officially work for the manhwa. So like it's a little... Is that canon now? Yeah, not safe for work. But they officially do the art for the manhwa now. So this is like official manhwa art. But they've done fan art before. So now the entire manhwa is like done by a fan of it. So it's like, yeah. So every time they post a new chapter, it's from one of us. It's really cool to see.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have one more. The problem is I don't know who the artist is. I found this on Google Images and I tried to reverse image search, and the only things that come up are Pinterest. So I don't know where this came from, but it is my phone background. This is
yeah.
Huai Izumi and Oikawa. That's been my phone background for like 3 years. So I do not change my phone background that often. As you can tell, like, no. It was One Direction for like 4 years, and then it's been that for like 3 years.
See, and that's the dilemma I have, is because I have all of this amazing fan art, but it's not for like a thing. It's for a band. So
That's
I don't know.
fan art is fan art.
Okay, I'll share one here. I'm gonna take them off my bulletin board because I actually have them hanging up.
If you think
But
I don't have 1D fan art saved on my computer, you would be lying to yourself, because I do.
That's fair. So this artist called, I think it's Watercolors by Sherry. She does these amazing little, sorry, this is gonna get a little thirsty. She does these like amazing little watercolors of the details of the guys in BTS.
Oh wow.
So like here's like Suga, who is my bias. And then like his like these are so beautiful. And obviously he has amazing little hands. They're actually big hands. So like I love these, and I have them hanging up right next to my desk because I like to look at them at all times. And I've just discovered so many fan artists, and you guys know that I love fan art. I always have. Like, that's been a huge passion of mine for getting into fandoms. I think it's so incredible when fans get that creative outlet. And although I'm not personally into fanfic, like I'm really into the visual arts and stuff. And so that's where I tend to spend most of my time and money, which unfortunately is bad.
Art is one of my big purchases at conventions, especially anime conventions. I feel like they tend to have the best.
I think San Diego Comic-Con is the only one I don't usually buy a lot of fan art at because it's just so crowded on the floor. But every other convention I go to, I spend like probably at least $50 or more on fan art. Like
the bulk of my budget is spent on fan art. Like official, like merchandise you can buy like online, whatever. But I was like, fan art, it's really best to like go and like see the booth and like all laid out and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Alice Yang, I can't believe I didn't. That's another person that did fan art and went pro.
Yeah, I love it when that happens. Like
that's amazing.
Good for them.
Yeah, they did like the official like Doctor Who comics covers for that, and they also did the Marvel book, Powers of Woman, or I can't remember what it's called. I have it, but like
who's the fan artist who does the profiles of the women with the words? I forget her name.
Karen Hallion.
Yeah.
Yes, Karen Hallion.
I have a lot of her stuff too.
Yeah, she has a whole thing of like the TARDIS being in Disney movies.
Yeah.
I have a lot of those prints.
I also have one that is of hers that is the Parasol Girl from the Haunted Mansion with the Dole Whip, which for those of you that are Disney Parks fans, you know what I'm talking about. So I love it. All right, hey, let's move on if we're done with the fan art to like the other.
Yeah, we had fan vids in there, but nobody thought of. I put fan vids in there because I used to make fan vids. Like I was much more involved with fandom like 10 years ago. I wrote fic. I haven't written fic in 13 years, but I used to write fic. I used to make fan vids, and I used to do graphics. Like I'd make icons, particularly for LiveJournal. So I'd make like LiveJournal icons and like headers and friends only banners for LiveJournal and all that kind of stuff. So fan vids is on there, and then like, but I don't know anybody that does fan vids anymore.
I do most of like my fan vids on TikTok, which I see you're
TikTok
about,
I had it because I wasn't sure if they counted as like fan vids. At least for me, I have a very specific idea of what a fan vid is, and that's like that. I mean, that's always been, at least for me, is when it's a music video. It's like set to a song, and it's like clips from the thing. At least that's what I did when those were fan vids. for CSI New York, in case anybody was curious what they were for. But yeah, we have other, I didn't like think of anything I originally made. I have 2 TikTok users that I want to shout. Probably more. I don't spend time on TikTok. There's good stuff on TikTok.
Are we losing her? I think
Yeah.
the connection is going out. We will backtrack. I think your connection. Oh, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah. Like, can you hear me?
Yes.
I hear you now. Continue.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. It was like I was obviously frozen for you, but nothing was frozen for me. So I'm like, I don't know. Anyway,
You came back looking really sad. You're like,
it happens to me a lot. I think the weather's bad here today. I think that's probably
that might be.
But anyway, TikTok users I want to shout out. Catherine Calligraphy. They take a sheet of paper and they do calligraphy to quotes. And so they have one that's hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Like that whole quote, they have that. And also they do the opening for Avatar: The Last Airbender, like water, fire, you know. So that's a good one. And then Chan Wills Zero, who's Chanel Williams, does a really amazing Minerva McGonagall cosplay, and then like does TikToks like as McGonagall. The accent and everything, like it's like spot on. And then another one of my others was Wizard Rock, which if you were in the Harry Potter fandom like 14 years ago was like a huge thing. It spawned this whole music genre of bands that sang songs about Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I do not particularly think most of them are good, but I just appreciate that there was this whole movement that did this. I, like, a few years after I moved to New York, when this was still a thing, I went to the Quidditch World Cup. Like, that was actually a thing that was did in New York.
Yeah.
I went to it, and they had all these, like, Wizard Rock bands that performed. But I want to particularly, like, call out Oliver Boyd and the Remembralls, because they are, like, the best. They're, like, a good band. Like, not even, like, good for Wizard Rock. Like, no, they're a good band. Like, I have a bunch of their songs. They have some, because the Wizard Rock groups would get together and do, like, Christmas albums. They're called Jingle Spells. And like, 2 of my, like, the Remembralls have, like, 2 really good, like, Christmas songs that are on the, like, I have them on my iPod during Christmas time because I love them so much. They actually didn't do, I think they only did, like, 2, like, mini albums. So they don't have that many songs, but they're really good.
There was a similar thing with Doctor Who where there was a couple bands, but there was one that
T-Rock,
was like
yeah.
Band. I can't remember though. I didn't stick around and like listen to them.
Yeah,
for very long.
Yeah, I never really got into Wizard Rock either. Like I tried, but like they're not good. So like I wasn't like except for Remember.
I will say to like kind of piggyback off of what you said, like a lot of the conventions that I've gone to recently, obviously not like super recently, but you know, last couple of years, have started getting those like geeky bands and the fandom bands to come and perform and have shows. And they're really, really fun. So I'm excited to see like, you know, when conventions start up again and like in-person stuff, like I'm excited. I love concerts. Like obviously I'm a big music fan. So I love to see like, especially those fan bands or whatever, get together. Sorry. That was my footrest, like freaking out. Sorry.
Okay. And then I had one more.
Conventions come back. You just reminded me that someday we will have them again.
Well, yeah, it'll happen eventually, maybe. Hopefully.
So I have one last in other, and it's Star Kid. So I don't know if, like if you were in Harry Potter fandom, you know who this is. This basically launched Darren Chris's career. But Star Kid was I don't know if it was a theater group at the University of Michigan, where Darren Criss and all of them like went to school. And they got big because they did a fan musical of Harry Potter, and it's a Harry Potter musical. It is the most amazing thing ever. And it's like it spawned like so much. Well, there's 2 sequels. Like they had the album, and the group Star Kid like did a bunch of other stuff. They did a superhero themed musical, and I think they did something based on like the Little Mermaid too. But the Very Potter musical is the big one, and like that is probably more fondly remembered than like actual Harry Potter at this point, because like it spawned so much. There's like so much stuff was introduced to the like lexicon and that is like considered canon now, and it's like one of the things is like Hufflepuffs are particularly good finders. Like that's a thing that everybody talks about. I actually like,
and who doesn't love Darren Criss? Like he's just adorable.
And he does the whole thing, like he's just like, I'm awesome, I'm Harry Potter, like and like there's a whole thing, and the girl that plays Draco is phenomenal. Like she is amazing. And I mean that is a massive, it's like 3.5 hours or something like that. And I would sit there and watch it in like piecemeal YouTube videos in a playlist because that was the only way you could watch it. And I was just like that kind of stuff. Like they wrote that and they wrote all the songs for it. It was like, oh my God, like that is amazing. And they did the 3rd one at LeakyCon, I think. And Ivana Lynch actually like participated. Ivana Lynch played Luna. And like she actually participated in it. And it was just like that kind of stuff. Like I love when that kind of stuff happens because it's just like,
it's fan synergy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
All right, so I want to highlight fan crafts, like stuff that's made by fans and like sold on Etsy. Like I spend so much money on Etsy, you guys, it's ridiculous.
Same, dude. Same.
It's so bad. But like one of the most popular things right now are masks, and I have this baby Yoda mask that I got, which is like my favorite one. It's starting to get worn out. I should buy some more. But that's a big thing right now. Apparently you're supposed to double a mask now, so put a boring one on under and then the cool fandom one on top of it. Another one is fan makeup. Like I have with me this eyeshadow called That Guy's Playing Gattaca, which is a line from an Avengers film. That man is playing Gattaca. You see? it's eyeshadow. It's got a little Galaga game on the cover. It's ridiculous. But unfortunately, this company went out of business. I'm so sad. Like, because they had Game of Thrones stuff back before I got kind of bitter about it. Tons of Avengers stuff. So many big fandoms. All sorts of MCU stuff. Yeah, so support your local crafter.
Oh, I have one more that I just thought of. I can't remember the name of the company, but there was a company that you could make teas, custom tea blends.
Yes.
Based on your fandoms. I actually, like, my friend got me like the Teen Wolf pack, so I have like the Teen Wolf teas. They're probably not good anymore because it's been a long time. But
yeah, they were good too. And like, if you made blends, you can either earn money or get credits to buy more teas. So
there's endless stuff on Etsy, like you said. Like there's candles for fandoms, like soaps, fragrances, like
people that make jewelry, like all that kind of stuff.
Jewelry. It's incredible. And yeah, I'm with you, Angel. Like I spend way too much money on Etsy.
It's practical. Like it's stuff that you're gonna use, but it's fan related. Like I want to wear earrings, so why not go to Etsy and order fan made earrings and support your like crafters, you know, in the world. Like it's just super fun.
I also order a lot from Society 6, which is very similar to Etsy. So yeah.
I like to get my t-shirts, like fan t-shirts. I like to buy them on like Redbubble and everything.
Oh yeah, Redbubble is good. Yeah.
I have a Redbubble. I don't recommend checking that out. But I was like, I'm not that skilled with it, but I have some stuff.
Well, this is fun. Like I loved going through all of this. I'm probably gonna start reading fanfic at some point. So
BTS real person fanfic.
I mean, it's possible. There are a lot of shippers out there, okay? Anyway, all right, let's move on. We're done with our recs. Of course, if you have any that you love and want to share, please let us know, because we obviously want to know, because we'll probably spend money with them, unfortunately. Hey, so let's move on to our recommendations for this month. So, Jamie, you're up.
Okay. So, To All the Boys, Always and Forever, which is the third movie in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, launched on Netflix yesterday. And this morning I watched all three of them, because I actually hadn't yet seen the second one that came out last year. And so I was like, I sat and I watched just like all three of them back to back to back. And like, yes, they're cheesy teen rom-com movies, but I love them so much. They're so adorable. And I really think it was like it's a good ending. So I definitely, like, if you haven't, that's a good way to spend your day, to just watch all three of them, which is what I did today. And then my other one is, if you haven't been exposed to the wonder that is the 1997 Cinderella starring Brandy and Whitney Houston, it is now on Disney Plus, and you all should definitely watch it like immediately after you watch this, because that is probably my favorite Cinderella ever. It's just fantastic. So.
Absolutely. Like, yeah. I remember that one. It was a good one. Angel will be back momentarily. So I'm going to go to my recommendations, which are Korean zombie films. So, again, I have been like really into Korean media lately, mainly because of BTS, but I recently watched Train to Busan, which I know you guys are fans of. And also today I watched the zombie film called Alive, which is also on Netflix. Very good Korean zombie movies, because frankly, Korean zombies are terrifying. They're fast. They run after you.
Have you watched Train to Busan?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I joined in a little bit in here.
No, it's good. It's like that. Like, that's just the genre of Korean zombie films. Is like, they're scary. They're fast. They want to eat you. Not even your brains. They just want to eat you. So like, they're perfectly fine with their ankle. Like, you know.
Korean horror films in general are really, really good.
I agree with that.
I've mostly only seen Bong Joon-ho films, which he did Parasite, which isn't really like a horror film, but there's some horror elements. But he also did one that was very much horror. It's a monster movie called The Host. If you're on a Korean movie fix, I know that you're talking mostly about zombie movies, but horror in general, go watch. Go watch The Host, okay? It's so good. That's my recommendation to you specifically.
Thank you. Well, and I talked about Sweet Home last time, so that one was good, and I still recommend that. So, Angel, what you got?
So I am doing a Babylon 5 rewatch, which it's a early 90s science fiction show by J. Michael Straczynski, who did Sense8. So if you know Sense8, you've seen some of his work. This is the same guy. And it is an old favorite of mine. Like, I discovered it probably about a decade or so ago, but not when it first aired because I was too young. Very different than a lot of sci-fi because it like focuses a lot on like diplomacy. Like, my nickname for it was Space UN, Space United Nations, because that's basically what it is. Like, it's a UN like place for planets. Like, so different species have ambassadors and like they all have to get along, but there's some larger elements to like really hard sci-fi, like evil aliens that must be defeated type plot lines as well. So very good, very different. I'm doing another rewatch right now. which I need to do every few years to remind myself of how fantastic it is. Once that's done, I'm probably going to start a Marvel Cinematic Universe rewatch starting at the very beginning. I haven't decided if I want to do chronological or release order yet, and I still have 2 seasons of Babylon 5 left, so I still have some time to think about it. I don't know what I want to do. What would you do? Would you do them
chronological?
Chronological would be mine. You should do a poll one.
So I would be starting with Captain America, the First Avenger.
Which is a perfect place to start, really.
And then going to Captain Marvel, which I don't know if Captain Marvel is streaming yet, but that would be the next
one. It should be on Disney Plus.
It should be. And then it's almost release order.
Yeah.
Almost at that point. Like, those are the ones that go back in time. But I got like probably a week or so before I'm done with Babylon 5, so I can consider my options. That's all I got.
All right. So ever since this dumb pandemic has started, we've been doing these quarantine shout outs during the webcast. What positive things have you seen, or random things that you want to mention that is adjacent to quarantine, or like makes you happy, or, you know,
some brightness in the darkness that's going on all around us right now.
Well said. Yeah.
And this is almost a year of this. This is almost a year of this, because we started in March of 2020, and it is February 2020. So 1 year of quarantine shout outs.
Yeah, mine's not really quarantine related, but today is Galentine's Day. If you're a fan of Parks and Recreation, Galentine's Day is the day before Valentine's Day, so it's February 13th, which is today. It's like a made-up real holiday about women supporting women. And so my shout-out is a Galentine's Day shout-out, and it's to all of the actresses that have come forward to support Charisma Carpenter in her statement. So,
yeah.
Yay them.
Yeah, that support has been great to watch, so I will second that shout-out. So I have 2 shout-outs. One, you guys are probably familiar with this, Gish, which is the scavenger hunt thing that I do every year. Since quarantine, they've started doing it more often, but smaller versions, because the actual event, so what it is it's a week-long scavenger hunt where you and a team of 15 people have to do all these weird tasks. You guys know, because I go to you and ask you, can you, like, put on a maid costume and hula hoop or something, you know, and you're
because a lot of it is like location specific. Like, you have to be like everywhere in the world.
Yeah, so like you get me asking you weird stuff, or like proof that you're registered to vote or something, you know. But the quarantine, they do little mini ones that last for 2 days instead of a full week. And they just announced a new one that is going to be on March 6th. Registration's open now. So if you want to do all sorts of weird stuff and potentially win a prize, you can sign up for that. And there is apparently a prize for this mini one, which there hasn't really been for the other mini ones. But so that should make things a little interesting. Yeah, so it's fun. Trust me. Go sign up if you want to. The other shout out I want to do is sushi cats. So if you have been following me, I am obsessed with these things. Sushi cats. They are little keychains of cats dressed up like sushi. They are the best thing ever. Like, and I have 6 of them currently. 6 sushi cats. And it's about to be 7.
Yeah! Please do an unboxing.
Do sushi cat unboxing. Let's find out what kind of sushi.
Oh, and on the box they like cry because they're like, why am I sushi?
Why am I sushi?
It's very funny. It's just adorable.
Okay. This will probably be my last one for a little while because I don't like going out in the world right now. It's scary out there. But oh my gosh, it's stuck. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, it has a little paddle on its back.
Okay, Tara is here in the chat, and she's like
Ping
flipping
pong.
out, by the way. So,
Look, little paddle board on its back.
oh my god!
And it's got a little ping pong ball. It's so cute.
I love it. It's very recreational.
I know, it's playing a little game. It's gonna join with its siblings now on my little sushi cat.
Oh my god. That's
Peachy, look at how many I have.
Why are they so? It's because they're crying, because they're like, why am I sushi?
Why am I sushi? There's multiple versions of it too, and they're crying on every box. So we've got, why am I sushi? Why am I sushi? Oh wait, that's the same one. Sorry. Different one. Why am I sushi? And then my favorite one with the fancy hat.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to whoever made that weird thing, because now that's the most entertaining thing in my life is sushi cat keychains.
Listen, that's why it's under quarantine. Shout out. It's just
I'm
that
not
little
placing them-
bright spot that you need. So
And now placing them back on my computer monitor where they live, so I'm lining them all up just on screen.
Oh, that's so great. That's a great way to kind of end things. As we mentioned earlier, next month is our anniversary. 8 years.
8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're gonna have an article that goes over 8 things that we've done in the past year, like right around the time we started going into quarantine.
Mhm.
Multiple people are going to contribute to it. It's going to go up on Patreon first on March 1st. So go sign up for the Patreon, and then it'll be open to everyone on our actual anniversary, which is the 3rd. So
We've done a lot of stuff, actually.
yeah,
Like a lot of weird stuff and good
yeah,
stuff.
we've kept ourselves entertained. So
Yes. Yes. And we're also going to have then another webcast edition. So watch our social media for that and for the link and everything. And we'll really talk about our weird stuff that we've done. So, hey, I'm Erin, along with Admin Angel and Jamie. Thank you for joining us for our special FanWorks edition of Feelings with the Geekiary. Remember, we are a free webcast run off of donations from viewers like you. Again, check out our Patreon. Thanks for contributing and helping our host site, the Geekiary. And we will see you next time for our anniversary special.
yay!
Bye.